Over the last year or so, we have met as a command staff. We've kind of discussed this application and what we wanted to use it for. We wanted to further our ability to operate in community policing, community-oriented policing. We wanted to use this application as a better way to communicate with the residents of Frederick. We wanted them to have another avenue, maybe an easier avenue to communicate with us. So in developing and identifying which tabs we wanted to use for the application, we did focus a lot on the community-oriented policing aspect of it. So some of the tabs that we came up with and we've looked at, and Cloud Space Mobile has been working with us over the last year, like I said, to kind of develop this, were an area for tips, meaning if you have graffiti in your neighborhood and you want to contact the police department to notify us of the graffiti, you can click the tips tab, use your camera from your camera phone to take a picture of the graffiti, which attaches it to the tip, and then it emails that tip to the appropriate employee at the Frederick Police Department. There's also a tab that allows you to commend an officer. If you have a positive interaction with a police officer out on the street, you're able to go right to the app, click on the app, click the commend button, and notify the Frederick Police Department of this positive encounter. Now, this is also used if you have a negative encounter. It doesn't replace the investigation that's going to have to follow from a negative encounter, but it will start that investigation in some cases right from the application. Safety tips. We're able to distribute, communicate, send out safety tips on a routine basis and update the app right from our desk computers as we want to distribute safety tips. There are other useful tabs on this. I don't want to go through every single one of them, but one that we think is, well, a couple that we think are going to be very useful is the Most Wanted tab. We publish weekly with the Frederick News Post, Frederick's Most Wanted, with photographs, what they're wanted for. You can click on Frederick's Most Wanted tab within this application, identify the individual or look through the photographs, identify an individual that you know, click on it, and actually send us a tip where he may be located. Your tips can be anonymous, or you can identify yourself through the app. There's also an Unsolved tab where we put all of our cold cases, usually consisting of cold case homicides and recent homicides that we're looking for tips to come in. Again, the same thing. If you click on the Unsolved, click on the case that you want to send us a tip about, you can type a tip, send it to us, and it can be anonymous, or you can identify yourself. One that's currently under construction is one we're calling Crime Map. You will be able to click on the crime map, zoom in on your neighborhood, and see raw data of all calls for service. It's raw data calls for service that happen in your neighborhood. So if you hear the police department, sirens maybe, you see some police cars in your area, you'll be able to go to the app, look at the crime map, and identify what calls for service we were in your neighborhood for. Again, this is all about community-oriented policing. It's all about communicating with our residents and them communicating with us. We wanted to have some tab where we were able to push information to the citizens, but we also want them to be able to push information back to us. There is a tab on here called Press Release. So all of our press releases will be published to this application. So you can go onto the application, read whatever press releases we sent out that night, that evening before, those type of things.